It's summertime here and I have a ton of basil growing in my herb garden. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 2 recipes, no bake recipes. All you're going to do is mix them up in a bowl, super simple, but 2 recipes for things that I always have in my house when basil is in season. I'm going to show you how to make homemade basil pesto. Oh my goodness, this only has 5 ingredients. So easy to make, and I put basil pesto on literally everything. And then I'm going to show you how to make marinated mozzarella balls. It is the perfect little snack or side dish when you want something cheesy and garlicky and basil-y. So easy to make. These recipes are going to blow your mind. Now, if you don't have your own herb garden with fresh basil, you can get basil at your grocery store, at your farmer's market, from a friend's house that's growing basil. It should be easy for you to get your hands on lots of fresh basil in the summertime. So let's get started on my 2 favorite basil recipes. So first we're going to make basil pesto. This stuff is so incredibly addicting. At our house, we put basil pesto on everything. We put it on homemade pizza. We will dip our bread in it if we're having pasta. I will actually put a dollop of this into almost any pasta sauce that I'm making. We put it on sandwiches. Oh my goodness, a BLT with basil pesto is going to rock your world. So to get started with basil pesto, you need about 2 cups of fresh basil leaves. Make sure that they're washed and dried thoroughly. I just pick on my leaves, put them into the basket of a salad spinner, wash them really well in the sink, and then use my salad spinner to make sure that all the water is off of the leaves. Super important to have dry basil leaves because you don't want any water in your pesto. Then you need freshly grated parmesan, some minced garlic, some really good olive oil, salt, pepper, and toasted pine nuts. So in a little skillet on medium heat, you want to take a 1/4 cup of pine nuts, and you can find these just at your regular grocery store in the nut aisle, the baking aisle. And you want to put a 1/4 cup of them into a skillet and move them around. This is going to happen super fast. You don't want them to burn. You just want to lightly toast them. You'll start to smell them. They'll get a little golden brown color to them. And then you want to take them off the heat and let them cool completely before you make your basil pesto. I'm already starting to smell them just after about 1 minute. You can see that some of them are already starting to get that golden color. This happens really, really fast. You kind of get the smell of popcorn. That's how you know when these are done. I use my Ninja blender with this little teeny cup on it. You can use a full-size blender. You can even use a food processor. I just find this is easiest. It holds all of my ingredients and whips up in a flash. So a 1/2 cup extra virgin olive oil, 1/3 cup of freshly grated or shredded or shaved Parmesan cheese. Add in my 1/4 cup of toasted pine nuts that are now cool, 3 cloves of freshly chopped up garlic, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/8 teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper. I'm just going to eyeball that. Then you need 2 cups of your fresh basil that has been washed and dried. I know, honestly, that 2 cups fills my container to the brim, so I am just going to stuff it in. And after I blend this up, if I find that I need more basil or olive oil, we can just add more at the end. It's kind of cool already. Snap this into my Ninja blender. I told you that was easy, and look at this beautiful basil pesto. I did a double batch, one for my niece and one for myself. This dish is actually going to my niece as soon as I finish filming this video. I'm taking it over to her. Now, basil pesto you store in your fridge, and you can see the olive oil will tend to rise to the top. It's just because it's being refrigerated. So when you use your pesto, stir it up really well. And if the top of it turns a little dark, it's just because it's exposed to the air. It's fine to eat it. If you don't like it, you can just scrape off the top little little bit, and then underneath will be this beautiful, bright green, lovely basil pesto. So next we're going to make marinated mozzarella balls. And a mozzarella ball can also be called a mozzarella pearl. You can buy them at your grocery in a package just like this. It's teeny little balls of fresh mozzarella that they've compacted into this little package. But once you tear the top off, the mozzarella balls are all individual. We love to enjoy marinated mozzarella on garlic crostinis. You can put it on any of your favorite little crackers or Ritz or Melba toast, but my favorite way to eat it is to take a piece of toasty French bread, and as soon as it has come out of the oven or off the grill or however you're cooking your French bread, take a clove of garlic, cut it in half, and then rub that garlic all along your French bread or warm toast. The garlic just melts like butter into that toast, and top it with your marinated mozzarella balls. Oh my goodness, we can eat the heck out of some marinated mozzarella. So this is how you make marinated mozzarella. I have a package of fresh mozzarella pearls. You can just individually pop out all of the mozzarella pearls into a bowl. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of dried oregano. And honestly, you can eyeball all of these seasonings, do it to your liking. I'm going to do the same thing, a half a teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to add some red pepper flakes. And because these are dried, I'm going to put them into my hand first and kind of run them between my fingers just to break up the oil so they have a little bit more flavor. A little bit of kosher salt, some freshly ground black pepper. I'm going to take a few basil leaves that I've already washed and dried. I'm going to stack them up, roll them up, and just give them a little chop, and they'll be beautiful basil ribbons. And add those to my bowl. Look how pretty that is already. Then I'm going to take sun-dried tomatoes that are packed in oil. This is the important thing. You definitely want them packed in oil. Get several out on my cutting board. And I want to slice these up again into little slivers or pieces. You don't want big chunks, or unless you like big chunks. I'm going to add my sun-dried tomatoes into the bowl. And you want to take the juice from the jar of your tomatoes and just add some into your bowl a little bit. I'm going to take 2 garlic cloves and mince them up really, really well. And add it to my bowl. So let's give this a stir, see what we've got going on. It's pretty dry, so I'm now going to add some extra virgin olive oil because we want this to be wet and have a decent amount of juice. We just don't want it soupy, I guess is the best way to explain it. You can see all the mozzarella balls are covered in oil, and I'm going to add more of my sun-dried tomato oil because I love the flavor of the sun-dried tomatoes. You can simply add more olive oil if you don't want the sun-dried tomato oil. It is totally up to you. So this is absolutely perfect. You can see all the oil at the bottom of the bowl. And you want some oil because when you go to put this on your garlic crostini or a piece of French bread, you just want a little bit of that oil. You don't want dry mozzarella. See that? That is the perfect amount of liquid in there. So I'm going to store my marinated mozzarella balls in this adorable little mason jar. So the best way to know if this is seasoned to your liking is you have to taste it, right? Oh my goodness. It's so incredibly good. Absolutely delicious. Remember that you can download my digital cookbook full of everyday meals and simple recipes. The link is in the description box. See you in the next one.